story, especially the title, is going to think it's a story about a kid getting a good report card. But it's quite a story to me because it was a life changer in how I approached many situations in my early recovery from alcoholism. When I say early recovery from alcoholism, I'm really referring to one day at a time. Because you're never fully recovered unless when you die sober. Most people, when they stop drinking, who get into Alcoholics Anonymous, wind up getting a sponsor. There's somebody who's been more experienced in alcoholism recovery. Fortunately, I got a genius to be my sponsor because he nursed me through the first year or two of my recovery from alcoholism. I'm not ashamed to say that when I did stop drinking on December 7th, 1970, my life was in ruin. My wife at the time had enough of me, and rightly she divorced me and took my 6 kids with her. I remember when I first was away from my family and going to my AA meetings, a lot of nights I would actually cry myself to sleep. What the hell have I done? What the hell have I done? But the damage is done. I'm not going to go into my drunkalog. It's many times just too embarrassing to talk about. But now I want to talk about my recovery. My sponsor knew that I was shell-shocked about what had happened to me due to my drinking. It was obvious I was a very sad individual. And he had to find some way, I think, to get me into a more positive frame of mind in my early recovery. And he found that way. And that's where this title comes from. Right? One day he said to me, early in recovery, you have to live a life where every day you're giving yourself a good report card. Now that sounded very infantile to me. But then he said to me, when you were a student in school and you got a good grade, how did you feel? Obviously my answer was, I felt wonderful. He said, how did you feel when you got a bad grade? I said, lousy. He said, so you want to live a life where you do such things in your daily living that may lead to a good report card at the end of the day. And all of a sudden it clicked in as to what he was saying. I had to find some way to take negativity that I was feeling in my early recovery days and turn things into a positive frame of mind. I like to call it massaging my brain into a positive atmosphere. And then Tom would say, take my daily activities, and at the end of the day, ask myself, did I earn a good report card? For example, when appropriate, did I pay my child support and alimony? The answer was yes. How did it make me feel? It made me feel good. In the morning when you bathe, shave, look in the mirror, and saw that you were not hungover, how did it make you feel? Another gold star for the report card. Early on, every day I had to make my own bed. And again, Tom would say to me, every time you make your bed, it's an act of responsibility. Another gold star. And this went on and on and on. I took every daily activity I was doing, and at the end of the day, I would go back over the day and say to myself, you know what? I got a good report card today. And by doing that, a whole new world opened up to me that, okay, from 1967 to 1970, I was a bad alcoholic. But now I'm in a whole new world. I'm in a world of recovery. And I have to bring all positive things into my recovery. No negativity. Absolutely no negativity. Another example is when I go to work, earn my paycheck a day at a time. Another act of responsibility. Tom is very big in saying, and I don't know if I understand this thoroughly, but people who are constructively responsible to themselves tend to be happy with themselves. And little things like making my bed in the morning made me feel good. Act of responsibility. Bathing in the morning. Act of responsibility. Paying child support and alimony. Act of responsibility. Earning my paycheck a day at a time. Act of responsibility. Leave the boss alone. Tom would say, if you got a problem with the boss, just ask yourself one question. Who makes a bigger paycheck? You or the boss? If the boss makes a bigger paycheck, you should ask yourself, how can I get a bigger paycheck? Above all, avoid resentments. Resentments are a killer. So what do I do if I got a resentment? Act of responsibility. Pray for the person you have responsibility, a resentment towards. Now, there's one thing I've learned in Alcoholics Anonymous. When we use the word pray or God, we're not referring to what you learned in religion classes. I'm going to repeat. You can massage your brain into positive thinking by creating an imaginary God in your mind. It's like, as little babies, we call it a nunny. Little babies are in the crib and they're sucking on their thumbs. Their thumb is a nunny. So look upon your higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, as your nunny. And all power comes from that nunny. As I mentioned it earlier on in this presentation, this sounds very infantile. My friends, it worked for me. That's the important thing. Would it work for you? I don't know. But it worked for me. Tom also told me the value of saving money. And I first thought he was crazy when he talked about the value of saving. I just thought he meant accumulating money. He said, no. He said, the value of saving money is to tell yourself you're being responsible. And again, back to the fact that people who are responsible to themselves tend to be happy with themselves. And that's the way I try to live my life up to this late stage of my life. I'm now almost 82 years old. But to the best of my ability, I don't shoot myself in the foot. That would be negativity. What I try to do is bring only positive activities into my life. uh, which is all these years of practicing these principles of giving myself a good report card every day has worked. Uh, I try to convey this to other people, but it sounds too infantile. It does. But when I think about it, going back to school again, you got a gold star in school, you felt good. In your daily life, at night when you go to bed, if you go back over your day and you're very pleased with your activities for the day, you were constructively responsible that day, you're giving yourself a gold star. So I hope you've enjoyed my presentation here about how to live a very positive, constructive life. Because in my case, constructively living my life has brought me great happiness. I don't need external factors, money, power, prestige, to make me happy. I just got to look at my daily activities and keep reminding myself I am being responsible by being constructively responsible to myself. Thank you.